Proper greetings. We're back at it. This is a spiritual gumbo. Just another, lost in the wilderness type of movement, but it's a beautiful one. And we pick up where we left off. We're going right into the Exodus of chapter 19. And where we left off, if you don't remember, Jotham gives Moses death knell advice that ultimately is going to undo the people. But I will refer back to that in particular. And for all the folly that follows, I'm going to refer back to that going forward. And in the third month, this is verse 1 of chapter 19. And in the third month of the departure of the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, on the same day, they came into the wilderness of Sinai. And they departed from Rephidim and came into the wilderness of Sinai. And there Israel encamped before the mountain. Verse 3. And Moses went up to the mount of God. And God called him out of the mountain, saying, These things shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and thou shalt report them to the children of Israel. Ye have seen all that I have done to the Egyptians. And I took you up as upon eagle's wings, and I brought you near to myself. And now, if ye will indeed hear my voice, and keep my covenant, ye shall be to me a peculiar people above all nations, for the whole earth is mine. And ye shall be to me a royal priesthood, and a holy nation. Stop right there. So, the people leave from Rephidim. This is the third month, right? So it would be 3 months to the day that they leave. They come, they're in the wilderness of Sinai. They come and they encamp by a mountain, and Moses goes up and he's talking to God. Or you could argue that this is the Messiah. You could argue that it's the Most High. The level of authority given, it sounds like it's the Most High talking to him, even if he's using mediums. The reason why is because he's letting them know that everything is mine. Everything is mine. You know what I'm saying? Now, you could argue that that's the Messiah saying that that's actually the Messiah. You could argue it's the Messiah talking, speaking from the reference that the earth is going to be given to him. Neither here nor there. Going forward. Note that the people are, if they do what he's asking them to do, they're going to be a peculiar people above all the nations. So no matter how strange the other nations may seem, you're going to be stranger than them. You're going to be more special than them. Having said that, the priesthood is going to be royal, and the nation of people is going to be holy. Come on. Put that in your mind. Verse 7. And Moses came and called the elders of the people, and he set before them all the words which God appointed them. And the people answered with one accord and said, All things that God has spoken, we will do and hearken to. And Moses reported these words to God. Here we go. Now this is very interesting. The people agreed to what Moses is saying. They're like, okay, we can do that. Right? We can do that. Check this out. Listen to this, and this is why I actually go into, I believe it's the Most High. Obviously, I've been reading. Verse 9. And the Lord said to Moses, Lo, I come to thee in a pillar of a cloud, that the people may hear me speaking to thee, and may believe thee forever. Stop right there. The reason why this is so, it's so peculiar. Do you remember when the character that's likened to the Lord, that's likened to God, when Abraham is dealing with this character, it's a physical, tangible person. Right. The same thing with Isaac, and the same thing with Jacob. It's a physical, tangible person. That's how I know that this is the Most High. Confident it's the Most High. Going forward. Verse 9. And the Lord said to Moses, Lo, I come to thee in a pillar of a cloud, that the people may hear me speaking to thee, and may believe thee forever. And Moses reported the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, Go down and solemnly charge the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their garments, and let them be ready against the third day. For on the third day the Lord will descend upon Mount Sinai before all the people, and thou shalt separate the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves that ye go not up into the mountain, nor touch any part of it. Every one that touches the mountain shall surely die. And the hand shall not touch it, for everyone that touches it shall be stoned with stones, or shot through with a dart, whether a beast or whether a man, and it shall not live. When the voices and the trumpets and the cloud depart from off the mountains, they shall come up on the mountain. Listen to this right here. He's telling them, when I'm making my entrance, nobody better be close to the mountain or touch it. If they do, they're out of here. Kill them. Dart them through their heart or stone them. I don't care. Man or beast. That's how the Most High gets down. Come on. When I make my entrance, nobody better interrupt. Come on. And they better be clean when I come. Neither here nor there. Verse 14. And Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified them, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, Be ready, for 3 days come not near to a woman. And it came to pass on the third day. See? Also, did you see that right there? For 3 days you can't have relations with your wife or your concubine or whatever. Don't do that for 3 days, because that'll make you unclean. Right. And Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified them, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, Be ready, for 3 days come not near to a woman. And it came to pass on the third day, as the morning drew nigh, there were voices and lightnings and a dark cloud on Mount Sinai, and the voice of the trumpet sounded loud, and all the people of the camp trembled. And Moses led the people forth out of the camp to meet God. And they stood under the camp. And the Mount of Sinai was altogether on smoke, because God had descended upon it in fire. And the smoke went up as the smoke of a furnace. And the people were exceedingly amazed. And the sounds of the trumpet were waxing very much louder. Moses spoke, and God answered him with a voice. And the Lord came down upon the Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain. And the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain. And Moses went up. And God spoke to Moses, saying, Go down and solemnly charge the people, lest at any time they draw nigh to God to gaze, and a multitude of them fall. This is how I also know that it's the Most High. Because any man that shall look, no man shall look at me and yet live. Come on. Nobody's going to look at his face and live. Verse 22. And let the priests that draw nigh to the Lord, God, sanctify themselves, lest he destroy some of them. So he's pretty much saying the same thing. Hey, these dudes who are supposed to be priests, you better tell them to get their act together, otherwise I'm going to touch them up too. See, I can't stress to you enough how there was... I don't know of a time when the people actually were perfectly in conjunction with the ordinances of the Most High God. It seems like the Most High always begs these people to do right, and they never do. Just my perception. I could be wrong. Having said that, do you notice how he has to tell Moses to tell the people to clean themselves? So the come as you are doctrine, right? There must be something to that. Meaning, he was talking about the Messiah, I'm going on now, was talking about people who were sick and needed to be healed. Right, from the diseases and ailments. Right. From people who wanted to be forgiven of their sins. Thank you very much. The context is important. The Most High God, his Messiah, and the angels were not trying to deal with dirty, cruddy humans who had no level of discipline and were uncouth. That was not what the Most High God was trying to do. He separated them into the wilderness just in case he had to kill all of them. Nobody would see it. Thank you. Going forward. But he also did that if you need the brighter side of it, so that way he could train an untrained military force, so that way they could become logistically sound once they did come into their own. Going forward. Verse 23. And Moses said to God, the people will not be able to approach the mount of Sinai, for thou hast solemnly charged us, saying, set bounds to the mountain and sanctify it. And the Lord God said to him, go, descend, and come up thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priest and the people force their way to come up to God, lest the Lord destroy some of them. And Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. Stop right there, because we're about to pick up at verse 1 of chapter 20. And we're going to cut this out here in a little bit. This is so amazing. Note that he says, yo, can't actually bring the people up here. You already said we can't come here. We have to sanctify ourselves. He's like, okay, bring Aaron up here. Make sure the people don't try to strong arm their way up to the mountain, lest the Lord have to kill some of them, right? Lest the Lord destroy some of them, right? Now understand, God is talking to him and telling him what the Lord is going to do. And then the Lord speaks to him. The Most High and the Messiah are present and available. Can you dig it? And both power levels and both entities are actually monitored in this talk. I'm going to get ready to end it out because I don't want my computer to phase out on me. I'm going to do my thing and then make another one before I upload this one. But I appreciate your time. I really do. I love you guys. Spiritual Gumbo out.